Creating Anarchy.
I'm Jazz.
I'm China.
And we are talking about, like Jasmine said, abuse in relationships tonight, and not just abuse, but all the different of abuse that we face during the relationship. So it's our best to dive into it hard, show some love.
All right. So before I ask the first question, have you guys been affected by abuse in any way?
I have. I mean, growing up, I witnessed it, and as an adult, I've experienced it. So yeah, for sure.
So I guess I've seen a little razzle dazzle. I've heard more than between my parents, but I have not actually experienced abuse from somebody because I don't know. I haven't, but I have been in abuse.
Okay.
I'll hold myself to that.
Okay. Myself, I have. I've experienced physical and verbal, in two different.
So saying that, do you think it would ever be like, is it ever okay to put your hands on somebody physically, verbally? You know,
Me, no. I honestly feel like if it has to get to that point, then shouldn't be, because you shouldn't be putting your hands on anybody. You shouldn't have to feel like you have to disrespect anybody. Like, I feel like you have to, in a relationship, is to grow. It shouldn't be toxic. It shouldn't have to get physical. You shouldn't have to put your hands on somebody to get a point across. Or if you're angry, you shouldn't have to use
it shouldn't result to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I believe the same. Like, if you have to resort to that, then you should not be together. And I also do think the only time it's okay to put your hands on somebody is if you're using self-defense. Like, if somebody is hitting you. Other than that, there should be no reason to even put your hands on somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing I say can hurt you enough to make you put hands on me or somebody.
I beg to differ. People be having me fucked up.
Yeah, but
no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I guess we're talking about like domestic abuse, like in a relationship.
Yeah.
You already know
Yeah.
me.
No, but that's what I was saying. Like, my relationship, where I guess you could say I was the abuser. I'm gonna stop doing this because I was really being abusive, but he was like pushing me to this. Like, he was saying the most personal, ignorant things, and triggering me in a way that I'm like, yo, like. And this is back when this is one of my earliest relationships. So yeah, I was young, I was hot-headed, I had a really bad temper, no self-control, really bad anger issues. I was like broken, lost, and I reacted first for everything. And yeah, he was only saying stuff and I was hitting him, like to the point where when we went out places afterwards, he's wearing glasses and got a busted lip because he would never hit me back. Like, he would only restrain me and shit, and I would just be whooping his ass.
But he was doing stuff to push you there.
He was saying stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't physically doing anything. It was just like when we would argue, he would say triggering things to me.
Okay. Yeah, but he knew in a sense that that's where it was going to lead to. If it happened once or twice, it's like he was pushing points, like buttons he knew that would lead to that. Not that I'm saying that it's okay.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. So while it's not okay for people to say stuff, I can see how it would trigger. Let's talk about things that are abusive, but people wouldn't say, your average person wouldn't say that's abuse.
I would say how, go ahead, China.
No, you go ahead.
I would say how people talk to somebody, like, even if it's like an argument, like how disrespectful people can get.
Well, that's verbal abuse. I'm talking about like manipulation. Like, that's a form of abuse, if you ask me. Like, you know, knowing somebody is weak and knowing you could get what you want from that person because of how weak they are, and constantly over and over taking advantage of where that person
Cheating.
stands. Cheating, that's abusive.
Yeah, like if you continuously cheat, if you continuously go out and you know your partner like doesn't like it,
if you
and you
continue
just say,
to do
fuck
something
it.
your partner's complaining about,
Yeah.
that's abuse. Yeah, not allowed to have friends, that's control, which is a form of abuse. So is it physical? Yeah, definitely gaslighting. We're talking about all types of abuse, not just physical. Someone said beautiful queens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other types you guys could think of that we could tap in on?
I would say
I just go ahead.
I would say like if somebody knows that like they're hurting you, like heartbreaking, like I feel like that's one. Like they just like,
well, yeah, that's what we just said. Continuing to do something they know that you don't like or that bothers you or triggers you, that's abuse, like for sure. And then so think about, do y'all have any sympathy for a person who's been through a bunch of shit or has seen, like grew up seeing abuse? Because I personally like truly believe that we grow up to be what our childhood teaches us. You know what I'm saying? Like, and sometimes we could be better than that, but a lot of times like that trauma can affect us. So say, for example, a boy grows up watching his dad beat the shit out of his mom, and his mom just take it, and there's no conversations had with this kid, and now he's fucked up in the head, and boom, he's grown up abusing his girlfriends. Like, do you have any sort of sympathy for the trauma that, you know, the person doing the abusing faces?
I did at first, because that's what I went through with my my second relationship, dealing with that. I tried to have sympathy, and I tried to show him otherwise. You know, I tried to like, I wouldn't disrespect him in any kind of way. I wouldn't try to trigger stuff that angers him, and he still continuously like kept on, wouldn't try to change. So I've tried to have sympathy for it, but it just gets to a point where it's just like you can't really have sympathy for it anymore if you're not, you know, if you're not trying to change yourself, and especially if the person who you're with isn't trying to bring you back to that in any kind of way.
Yeah, so go ahead.
I know someone personally who deals with that, and this person will literally use that as his excuse. Like, he'll be like, you don't know what I've been through this and that, that's why I'm like this, I don't mean to do it, you know, like, and just come up with excuse after excuse. And I naturally have sympathy for this person because of what they've been through, but I hold no sympathy for the fact that you put your hands on somebody and use the excuse that you've been through that. Like, I don't have sympathy for that being your excuse, but I have sympathy and empathy for what you went through, and I know how that affects you, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think like at some point you have to hold yourself accountable. You're an adult and you know that these things are happening, or these are your triggers, and you have to hold yourself accountable and do what it takes to fix it. You get so old and you become an adult, it's like you can't keep using those excuses. You're going to be who you want to be, and that's it. I mean, I read somewhere, it was like our mental, our personalities are built like within like the first, I don't know if the number's right, like 5 or 6 years of our life. Like the things that we go through in those years really like transform us as people and adults.
No, I agree, but the reason I so badly hold people accountable for change is myself. Like, I'm living proof of that. I've come from something that you wouldn't have thought I would grow up to be the woman that I am. So, you know, I believe that your environment can mold you, but you have to sometimes, like you said, hold yourself accountable and be stronger than what you're used to, what you know.
You're hurting people you love.
Yeah. One of our comments said abusive men often use the same triggered justification for their abuse. Is there a double standard when it comes to women abusing men? So he's talking about, because I think he was here when I mentioned I was being triggered verbally in like the nastiest way, guys, like using really personal evil stuff against me. But no, there's no double standard, and I'm here to hold myself accountable for what I did to that man. And shout out to him for never hitting me back, because he would have beat my ass. But no, there's no double standard. I'm just as wrong as like any woman who is abusing a man, or their woman is just as wrong as a man putting his hands on his woman. I don't think there's a double standard at all. There shouldn't be, at least. I think some people do, like, oh, well, it's a girl, it doesn't matter if she hits you, like, so, but I don't see it that way.
So growing up, I told you guys that, you know, like, I witnessed abuse growing up, and I have two sisters. One of us does a lot of what we witnessed, and the other one does wants nothing to do with that type of lifestyle. She doesn't drink. She doesn't do anything that she witnessed growing up. So it's crazy to think like how that type of trauma can make somebody go one way or the other. Like,
yep.
It's crazy how the brain works. It's all chemical.
Oh yeah, you never seen that quote that said something like, there was two boys with an alcoholic father, and what did it say? One ended up
never
alcoholic and was asked why, and it's like, because my dad was an alcoholic. And then the other will never touch liquor, and asked why, and he's like, because my dad was an alcoholic. So it's all about, and the route you choose to take. Like, as humans, as adults, we all have a choice at the end of the day. So using your trauma as a fucking excuse is inexcusable. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah, also, it's like, you think about it, like, if they've been through it, why would you want somebody else to feel that same hurt and pain that you went through?
Yeah, no, facts. But no, hurt people hurt people. So
I think they use it as an outlet for their own pain, their own anger.
Exactly.
So, and not
that doesn't make it okay either, right?
Yeah.
So someone said, what about using mental illness for an excuse to abuse? Now listen, that is touchy, because there's so many different types of mental illnesses. There's like depression and anxiety, right? I suffer that severely sometimes. And then there's like schizophrenia and bipolar disorder and freaking like what's that one? I don't know if that's a mental disorder. No, it might just be a regular, but whatever. Like, some people have like split personalities. Like, they cannot control themselves like a regular person. So, for my lack of education on some mental illnesses, I'm not even going to say like whether you can or can't use that as an excuse, but I know for sure that some people actually do not have control over some of these mental illnesses.
I wouldn't. Go ahead.
I wouldn't use that, but I can say when I'm at my highest level of anxiety, I have zero patience, so I can get a little verbally abusive when I have high anxiety. So, you know, that's a thing, and I don't know how to say like I can excuse myself from that, because it's almost like uncontrollable, and then like moments later I'll pause and regret that I reacted that way, and I'll apologize. That's one thing about me. I hold myself accountable, and when I'm wrong, I admit it and I say sorry. So when I do have one of those anxiety snap outs, I apologize almost immediately. But yeah, mental health is like a really sensitive and broad subject that I can't really even say whether you can excuse that or not.
I've never personally witnessed somebody with a mental illness in an abusive relationship. So like you said, it's touchy. So it's like, I wouldn't want to say that's an excuse. That's not. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're with somebody that does have a mental illness, I strongly just encourage you guys to find help, because at the end of the day, abuse is it's not okay. Like, even feeling bad for this person who has a mental illness and using that as an excuse, you can end up dead. You can get hurt. Like, it causes trauma to yourself, PTSD. Like, that's real.
Yeah, no, definitely.
No, for sure. And then, so can I get some podcasts that can you speak on the progression of abuse? What are some of the early signs that you may be with the possible abuser that might help some of the women watch and protect themselves? I love that. I'm gonna let you girls start unless you'd like me to.
I would definitely say, Jesus. So sorry, guys. Me, I would definitely say, how they talk, how quick they are to get angry, them not being able to walk away, how many times they get
What do you
angry.
mean by not being able to walk away?
Like say if they know they're like, the person is about to get angry and they know their anger, instead of like, you know, just trying to walk away from it and not get physical or not get, how you say, like verbally abusive, they'll just continue to just go along with it.
So you mean like antagonizing you? Because like I don't think that someone not able to walk away is necessarily abusive. So we don't want to give the wrong idea there. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I like saying this right? Like, because I personally don't like being walked away from in the middle of that. Like, I'd like to get to the bottom of it. You know, if we're arguing, like, sure, we need to separate if it's getting heated up. But like, if we're going through it and you walk away from me, we got a fucking problem.
Well, I think that's what she means. She means like if they know that they have that temper, and they don't have the control to walk away, you know that eventually one day it's going to progress into something more.
To getting physical.
That's not true. Because my husband, the guy I married, the man I married, he likes to like go back and forth with me, right? But he would not, and he won't walk away. He doesn't have the walk away, you know, capabilities. But I don't think it progresses into like, well, you're gonna get your ass whooped. You know, like we spent 7 years arguing and him not walking away. I'm just saying, like, there's deeper things to pay attention to. Right. So there's deeper things that are more, right. So there's deeper things that are more pinpoints of what abuse is. So like maybe controlling. You can't go there. No, I don't want you to wear that. You know, like
don't hang out
with away from your family and friends. Jealousy. You know, possessiveness. Yeah, like those are all signs of abuse, and
putting you down every time you're up. Like if you have something positive going on in your life, you're saying something positive, and they have almost something narcissistic to say. You get what I'm saying? Like they're always trying to put you down. That's not a partner.
Yeah. Or like they get mad to see you like progressing.
Yeah. Or getting mad about small stuff, you know, that's also a big sign. Like you shouldn't be so angry about this. It's not that serious. I just forgot your fries, buddy. Like you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. And then like as far as like verbal abuse and stuff, don't let anyone disrespect you, because someone who loves you, my thing is, this is like, I'm super big on this. You probably heard me mention it before. In relationships, it goes respecting the person, loving the person, and trusting the person. Trusting could probably come first, but definitely respect first. So if someone respects you, they're not going to call you out your name and put their hands on you and control you and try to turn you into who you weren't when they met you. So those are like super big signs. And let me just say, if someone puts their hands on you, don't wait to see if they're going to do it again.
Because 9 out of 10, they're going to.
Yeah. So that's my take on that, for the ladies watching. I personally, like I said, have never been abused. I've been in scuffles with men, you know, like that I'm dating. I've like fought and lost, I guess you can say.
You got manhandled, but they didn't physically hit you.
But I've never like had to walk around with a black eye and lie to my family, or like, you know, like I've never been abused in that way. So I've been abused in other ways. But yeah, so I don't really know how to give that outside of what I just assume and have witnessed. But like personal experience, I just say someone who is showing jealousy, possessiveness, controlling you, and even getting a little rough with you early on. Like don't take that shit.
And excessive anger too. Like you can tell when somebody gets really angry when they're speaking to you. Like if they talk to you and you feel at your lowest, like you feel gross, and they know you feel that way and they continue to do it, that's a sign too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Somebody said verbal abuse or physical abuse, what's worse?
Physical. Because you can
don't
lose
put your
life.
hands on people. You can kill somebody. Yeah. People have lost their lives. Like, I know you guys know about that. I know we've all heard about it. The woman, she's like a mom of 6, and her kid's dad just stabbed her and killed her.
In the van, yeah.
Yeah, like that's crazy. And she had a restraining order against him, and it didn't help her much. Most women who die from domestic violence situations either A, stayed past the time that they should have, like they knew they should have been left, or B, had a restraining order that didn't protect them. So don't wait until it gets that serious. Yeah.
Like I told you guys, I've experienced being in an abusive relationship, or abuse. I wouldn't say it was a consistent like abusive relationship, but I have experienced abuse. And I have called the cops, and they called me like 4 days after this person got out of jail. 4 days. So it's like to let me know he was out of jail. So it's like, if that person really wanted to come and hurt me, they really could have. There's no, like, they don't do enough to protect these women.
I had got a restraining order, and literally, like, this person was riding past my house, was like literally stalking everywhere I was. Like, everywhere I was, I would call the police multiple times, and they would literally give me so many different excuses on why they couldn't do anything. And I'm literally, where the restraining order is placed, the house it was placed, I would call the cops there, and they would basically tell me, like, there's nothing we can do. And I'm telling them, sir, this man is driving past my house constantly every single day, and you mean to tell me y'all can't do anything? They did nothing. And then it gets to the point where it's like, okay, if this restraining order isn't going to do anything, then I'm going to have to sit here taking it to my own hands. Then you wind up getting into another predicament just because they're not helping.
Yeah, fuck that though. I'll go to jail behind murdering somebody if I got a restraining order and they're violating it. Like, obviously I feared for my life. I got a restraining order. Here it is on paper. I killed that motherfucker because he wouldn't leave me alone. Like, yeah. I wouldn't fear even a little bit my consequences after that, because my life is much more important.
Some women do struggle with that because they genuinely love the person, or they have children with them, and
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, I cannot speak so broadly on this, because I'm like, okay, yeah, I love you, but nigga, you just hit me. So like now it's on and fucking popping. You know what I'm saying? Like, how I grew up, I guess, who I am, you know, I've never experienced that. I've never had to, and I don't think I wouldn't experience that. I would not. So I, like, it's hard for me to relate to a woman that would allow someone to hit her in front of her kids and stay, and then let him kiss on you tomorrow like he's really in love with you, you know, like, and it's not that I'm judging, it's hard for me to understand. Like, I can't,
because you haven't been there.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'd be like, bitch, leave. Like, you know, if it's like crazy and happening all the time, like I would be like, bitch, leave. And then when it's like, oh, it's hard to leave, like, well, come stay with me, like, we'll figure it out. You know, I've said that to a couple of my friends that I know have went through that, and they didn't come.
So do you think, like, somebody who gets aggressive when they drink or do things like that, like, I think that some people do get very aggressive, or they instigate arguments when they drink, when they do drugs. I've witnessed more of the drinking. I haven't really witnessed too much of people getting violent on drugs. But is that an excuse? Like, what do you guys think about that?
No, it's not a fucking excuse. If you get violent when you drink, you don't need to drink. I don't understand that either, because when I get drunk, I'm like turned up and I love everybody. You feel me? So like, when you're, you feel me? So like, when you're an evil, when you're like an evil drinker, like an evil drunk, I'm like, you just need to put the bottle down. Like, you need to not drink. You know what happened last night. Don't do that again. Yeah, exactly. You need a joint for real. Like, calm down, chill pill. A Xanax or something, bitch. Like, you're bugging.
You know, so crazy, because I know somebody that literally gets violent while they're high. Like,
Oh, I could
Oh,
never. Like,
I couldn't imagine that. But listen, can I get some podcast that some women say it starts with hitting things and ends with hitting you? Remember, I said I personally know somebody who watched their dad do it and now hits their girlfriend. That person started hitting shit. Now that person does not hit things anymore and only hits their significant other. That's crazy. That's like a real fucking thing.
hey, Miss Dominican.
So someone said it's not always abuse if your partner doesn't want
So,
you to wear a particular outfit, not even controlling, but it depends on the situation. Um, Me as a woman who I love me and I stand, firmly on this, a man can't tell me what to wear, period. Like, I think that if your woman is dressing provocative, she 9 out of 10 was dressing provocative before you, and you liked it. So now that she's your woman, you can't tell her that she cannot do that. I personally don't dress provocative. I like to show skin, but yeah, if I wanted to wear whatever, it's because I want to wear this. And um, I think it's controlling to tell somebody, no, you can't wear that because it makes me
definitely.
uncomfortable. It's insecure, and it's definitely a form of like trying to control, and I wouldn't stand for that at all.
do you think like a person even just mentioning, "Hey, I don't like what you're wearing," it like them coming to you like on a respect level? Do you think that that's abusive? Signs of abuse? You're saying, "Hey, this makes me uncomfortable that you're wearing this," and then
Why does it make you uncomfortable? Do you not trust me? Do you think that I'm
I don't
going to
know.
cheat on you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would start questioning back and it would be a real conversation. And if you gave me an intellectual answer that made fucking sense as to why this woman that loves you and you love and that you're laid up with every night can't wear something that makes her feel good because it affects you in some sort of emotional way, then we have an issue that we need to compromise and meet in the middle on. Or maybe we're just not compatible because, again, there's like, you can't tell me what to wear.
At the end of the day, you can tell me how you feel, but when like
Respectfully. But I'm
respectfully,
not
but you
going
can't
to,
demand it or say you're not
yeah.
wearing this or make a big like when they explode because you're wearing this outfit. Like no, maybe you say
Yeah.
something and we communicate, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So someone, Mandy Zemo said, do you believe a relationship turns into an abusive relationship, or is that just how the other person is and oneself didn't see it?
I don't understand that.
Both. No, they're saying like, um, did this relationship turn abusive because of things, or is that like, was this person
Their
always,
personality.
and you just like failed to see that? I think both, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some people they're itching for it. They pick it. They pick it out of that person. Um, like you said, it can verbally abuse them or mentally abuse them to where they become physical because they they can't control it. Like you said earlier, like I would almost say like what you said with your experience that if he's saying those things that is a form of verbal abuse or mental abuse if it's deep enough, if the cuts are deep, cutting deep enough.
Yeah,
Roja.
no, it was definitely mental abuse. That like
Yeah.
I cannot address the things he would say,
Mm-hmm.
but he knew. Like I've been in dark places about some of the things he would say, and he would bring them up
He
every time
knew,
we got into it. He knew, so
and that was
he
a
was
form
mentally
of
abusing me, and I was physically abusing him because
mm-hmm.
I was easily triggered back then. Dre said, "What about the women that abuse good men? Why don't you speak on those things?" There are crazy women out there too. We did speak on women abusing men. You're just here a little late. We are not biased here. Uh, so maybe you can catch the beginning on YouTube when we post it. Sad to
But
say, but the law don't care until something bad happens.
speaking on that, why do you think it's different for women to like? Why do people look? Why do you guys think it's different for people to see a man in an abusive relationship? Like, why is it different for a woman
Because
to hit a man?
people are like, he's strong, so she can't
He could
beat
take
you.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Like none of my friends, no one even was like, yo, chill. You're just like, you're crazy. Even one time, my sister and our friend like jumped him with me in the car because he was talking that shit. Like, police came and everything. It was fucking crazy. But like, so no one ever like held me accountable, and like that's a part of the problem, you know. So
yeah, if that's you guys,
I'm holding myself accountable. Like, don't worry.
Yeah.
So if a woman is repeatedly hitting a man, you think it's okay for the man to hit her back to defend himself?
No, he should call the police just like a woman should.
Yeah.
But if a nigga hits me, I'm gonna hit his ass back. So I don't know. Maybe I am being biased.
No, but some women can be excessive. Like, if you're constantly hitting somebody in their face, you're backing them into a corner, you're hurting them, they have the, like, I mean, I wouldn't say you fucking hit her with a fist. You mush the fuck out of her. You push her. You're a man. There's way too.
Yeah, there's like ways around it.
Manhandle her ass. Like, pin her ass down. But you can't, you know, but that's just self-control in a sense. You know you have more power. So.
We're not doing shots tonight, guys. Just, unless you guys want to take a shot. I'm not taking a shot because I wasn't going to join tonight because of like my physical state. So I'm not going to get drunk, but I'm sipping.
I'm sipping too.
Mm-hmm.
What you sipping on?
Patron. Girl, you know I only drink tequila.
I'm not gonna get drunk, guys.
No, it's Patron. It's Patron and Sprite though. So and it's just one cup. I'll be fine. You know, bitch. Come on, look who you're talking to. You know. What was the last thing we said? I was trying to read. I was trying to read all the comments, and then I got distracted from you guys.
No, we're distracting.
No, I got distracted from you guys, like from what we were talking about.
No, we were just talking about, is it ever okay for a man to hit a woman even if she's the aggressor? And I think we established it's not. However, I feel like a man, like, you're a human being at the end of the day, and if somebody is backing you into a corner and hitting you, you have a right to defend yourself. However, if you are more powerful than this person,
so yeah,
take that into account. Yeah.
As a boy mom, you're okay if your son comes and he's like, yeah, knock that bitch out because she wouldn't stop hitting me.
No, that's what I was saying. If you know that you have more strength than this person, there is a way to handle them, manhandle or pin them down or push them out of your way versus hitting them. But if she has my son back into a corner, I don't see
then he can knock her ass out.
No, but I'm saying he can manhandle her. He could definitely say, "Bitch, back up!" Like, he can push the fuck out of her or pin her down and get out of there. I'm not just gonna allow.
If a man ever hit my daughter, I would go and hold him down and let her whoop his ass. If that ever happened,
I can see that.
No,
I swear to God, let's go. Somebody said no lie. Sometimes a woman needs a slap.
Who said that?
I think it's with Mimi. I'm pretty sure it's with Mimi. Yeah. I disagree, girl, but you know.
Yo, like, dudes, I feel like
she probably likes it rough.
Like knocking somebody out. Our slaps just be like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you know that you are more, like, if you're stronger than a person, I mean, you don't do that. I mean,
stronger or not, no, you don't slap. No, like I said, and I can sit here and say this because I know I was wrong for putting my hands on that man. Like, you just don't.
No, I'm saying if you're backed into a corner. I'm saying defending yourself. If you're backed into a corner, that's self-defense. So that's not even like, you know what I'm saying. But if you're backed into a corner, no, I think she just means a woman getting rowdy. And
yeah. Okay, and I like this one. Truly Blessed said, what about woman on woman? Is it okay to favorite your girl? Would that be toxic if they both are aggressive? It's so funny because we were discussing that. I think that it's just two people abusing each other. It's toxic because it's toxic, but it's two people.
It's abuse.
It's still abuse, you know, like y'all beating each other's ass and you're supposed to be loving each other and building each other up.
Oh my God, I don't know.
You know,
I like girls, but I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I fought my ex-girlfriend, bitch. I caught her cheating on me with her baby daddy. She left me at the beach for the longest. I went walking looking for her ass. The police came and everything. Like, we fought on the fucking beach. And I told the police, I was like, she's my girlfriend. I love her. But no, that shit's not okay. Like,
Yeah, I had got with one girl, and literally, like, she was drunk and she was high on some shit, and she literally came to my house and she started like trying to rough me up against my damn closet, and I like wanted to whoop her ass, and I was like, oh no, I can't be with no female. Like,
Yo,
I
you
can't do
told us
this.
this story, like, I
Yes.
think a couple episodes ago. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Slap is okay. All right, there's a stigma on when or men getting abused. Society hasn't progressed far enough to accept males appearing weak. I think that we're getting there.
Yeah, I've known men that love their women enough. They might not even know they're in an abusive relationship. Because they're stronger than their woman. So, but if your woman is hitting you or verbally or mentally, or physically assaulting you, like, that is abuse. And I think a lot of men are even afraid to admit that because of the stigma around it. Like oh, you're a bitch. I could never. How could you let a woman do that to you?
Someone said in Colorado, even if cops show up, most of the time men still get taken away regardless if he touched her or not. I think that happens usually. Let me not lie, I got arrested one time. It was and that's not the same dude. I wasn't in the fucking wrong. Like, and we was hardly fighting. We was fighting over fucking keys, and they took me.
I think in Florida they have to take both. There's something they either have to take one person or both.
Yeah, I was rowdy when the cops got there. That's probably why they took me.
Oh yeah, we know, bitch.
Yeah, like, y'all got me fucked up. Unhand me, motherfucker. Who is this? Everyone is asking to join. Are you going to talk about abuse, or are you just trying to talk to us?
You might ask them to join and see some crazy ass shit. Be careful.
Yeah. Oh my God. Did I tell you guys another story for another day?
So what do you guys think? What PTSD do you think? Like, what are signs of PTSD that a victim goes through with abuse?
Like flinching. You kind of people pleasing.
Definitely.
Submitting.
Ultimately submitting.
Yeah, not the good kind of submitting. Like I guess that goes hand in hand with people pleasing. To be real.
People apologize a lot.
That's a good one.
Yep,
yeah,
a lot apologizing a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Y'all females do be bugging. Why do y'all think y'all Wonder Woman? Like, sit your little ass down somewhere.
Who said that?
I am Wonder Woman. David Davis. Letting a woman hit you a turn on, spit the blood out, give her a kiss, and tell her relax. Yo, that's been done. Nah.
Did that turn you on, bro?
I was about to say, honestly, that is sexy. Like, you're not finna hit me back. I love you, baby. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah. So wait,
I gotta grow up.
That brings us to toxic versus abusive. Like, I have seen couples, they enjoy arguing. Like, they pick at each other and they are like tussling and constantly at each other's throat, or assaulting each other. And I don't mean like it could really get really physical, but just a lot of manhandling and pushing and shoving. And do you think that it is abusive if both people are partaking in the altercation, like
that's what she was asking earlier with the girl on girl shit? Yes, right? You're abusing each other, like I said.
Yeah.
Like, you don't put your hands on people. Like, y'all know I grew up fighting. Like, you said this, meet me here, we finna fight. Like, I'm always fighting somebody.
Me too, bitch.
Well, what? Now, like, now as an adult, I don't want to physically punch somebody. Like, unless I have to on some self-defense or defending my kids, like something like that. I don't like the idea of fighting. I don't like the idea of my fist hitting someone in the face. It makes me uncomfortable. I could kill you on accident. Like, so I just feel like people should not put their hands on each other at all.
You learn this as a kid, though. It's crazy. Like,
but I didn't care as a kid.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was still fighting.
But as
like,
adults, we
happy to fight. Yeah, exactly. So,
me and Dad were hiding in bushes, ready to fight somebody. I remember you trying to fight my friend Roja.
Who?
Jennifer.
Why did she fight her?
I don't know, but you had that.
She had to
You
take
had
home.
that bitch listening to Nuck If You Buck to hype herself up.
Oh, I didn't want her to be scared of me. I was
No,
like, let's go.
She was definitely like in the mirror, like, all right, Pinky's coming, all right, let's, like, she was like hyping herself up. I'm like, girl, if you don't sit the fuck down,
Yeah, you gonna
you
get
gonna
your
get
ass
beat
whooped,
up.
girl.
You know
Nah,
what's so
that's
crazy?
like that.
I feel like I'm the complete opposite now because I feel like I took so much like when I was younger and I used to just let people walk all over me. Now I be like quick as fuck to want to like throw hands now. And it's bad. Like it's really bad. And it's
Well,
like
that's
it's
something
like
you gotta work with, bitch. Work on, because now you're old enough to get arrested, go to jail. We got kids. I mean, I can't even really talk
I
because y'all
think,
know me. Like, I get a little messy sometimes,
exactly,
but
especially you. So please.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that you still have I think you suffer from
PTSD.
what is it? What were we saying? Like PTSD from your abuse that you faced. I think that you have a lot of those traits that we mentioned. And you're like the perfect example of what that shit can do to you, like you're also very strong. But you do have that
characteristics.
some characteristics of someone with PTSD from abuse, like for sure.
Yeah.
And
you know what? I
bitch,
think a
I
lot
got
of it
you.
is like, yeah, period. I feel like a lot of it is like disrespect though. Like disrespect is what really like triggers me. Like
Yeah,
but
no, I've witnessed that.
Yeah, you also you have a you're a people pleaser, and we've talked about this before. You're very when you love somebody, you want to please them like the best way you can, even if you can't deliver. And then also you snap. You're like, who the fuck are you to disrespect me? So it's like you
got me fucked up, dog. That's
it's like it goes both ways. Like when you love somebody, you I don't want to say you submit, but you
people please, and you apologize a lot.
Yeah, I do a lot.
Yeah,
and then if you don't know them though, that shit be like fucking like bitch.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't love you, bitch. We can fight.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone said a good point. Why do some females get angry or loud when they just want sex? Like they want us wild up to get that angry sex.
I just went through that.
I don't think I do. I don't think I like snap and do the most for sex, but I'll give you a little too if you're not doing it like what you're supposed to do enough. Like if I got to take the initiative all the time, I will start going some type of way. And
but I think but as a couple, I think you kind of establish like that aggressive sex thing. Like you're not gonna sit there and just overly do it, but if you know that that's what you guys do for sex,
aggressive sex.
Well, he's saying like if you get aggressive in order to, so I think like that's kind of what is it, like a kink?
Yeah, I could be lovey-dovey. I could be like, baby, I love you, and then like when we're fucking, I'm still gonna tell you to slap me. So I think
no, but I think what they're saying is like we provoke them in order to gain that. No,
I don't. I've never. Sex. Do y'all do that? Y'all will start a fight to get angry sex?
I don't, because I got pride issues. So I will really be like, it's an argument now. Like
but not about the sex. It's just an argument.
No, it's an argument.
Oh,
don't fucking touch me. Don't fucking touch me. Like so, I haven't gotten there. I think it would be great to experience, but I'm still dealing with ego and pride issues. I think so. It's like when somebody disrespects me, like I try to put my foot down instead of. I have an issue submitting, I guess you could say.
It'd be some good ass sex though.
Y'all be telling me about some shit. Y'all be having me feeling violated, remember?
What, the booty shit? Anything toxic at this point is trash. Hallelujah. Let the church say amen. Honestly, there are red flags and girls ignore it. I agree. I don't want to fight with my woman. Okay, I don't want to fight with my woman. I want to elevate and grow in true love with my woman. I want my woman to explode naturally, spiritually and physically. Yes, that's why if a nigga's abusing you, he don't really love you. He don't respect you. The segment don't seem right without shots. Oh, I guess you're in the wrong place then, buddy.
Yeah. No shots.
So do you bring your PTSD into your next relationship? I think that naturally people do.
Not intentionally, but they do.
Yeah, and they don't mean to, but it's PTSD, so you can't really control it.
Yeah, and you don't even realize it's happening.
My God. This guy said, "Knock the pizza out your hand." Do you remember in California? I had no business.
Slap the whole box.
This lady, she was being so like drunk and regular with me, but I was in such a bad mood that I was like, "Mind your fucking business" or something, and I just smacked the fucking pizza box out of her hand, dog. Wasted her whole large pizza,
and she still picked it up though.
She did pick it up.
That's wrong.
I know I was wrong.
So do you think that people can change? Like, do you think that that's capable? Like, if you have been in an abusive relationship or you've been an aggressor in the abusive relationship, do you think that there is room to change?
I think so. I think people, like, I feel like if they, like, really are trying to change, I feel like they could. But I feel like if they're just, like, not willing to, they just want to continue being themselves, then ain't nothing going to happen.
So, okay. I experienced abuse. And the abuse that I experienced was very close to home. So I saw it a lot as a child. And as the years went by, they are as happy as can be. They fucking are in love all over again, and nothing like that goes on. So I would hate to say that people can't change. However, I feel like a person can change, but I don't know if they can change with the person that they've been abusing. So if you've been in a relationship and you've been hitting this person or taking your anger out on them, I think it's a lot harder to change yourself while being with them, because once you put your hands on them, they're always that outlet. You know exactly. That outlet is.
So you might be able to learn from that mistake into your next relationship, but I think that might be like if you're already, normally putting your hands on somebody, like that's your punching bag, and I don't think it'll change. But I also like have seen people, like my dad, for example, and any girl he's been with since before my mom, he's abused. So, and he's been apologetic, so I don't know. Like, I guess it depends on the person, you know what I'm saying? Like, because
you have the willpower. You have to really want to do it. You have to do the work.
I used to whoop his ass a lot for like saying shit. Like now I get really mad and I'm just like, yo, get out my face. Like, but I'd be wanting to like take my anger out if I'm triggered like that, if you're saying personal things to me, but I have the self-control not to these days. So I guess it just depends on the person.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If you saw yourself in a relation, like where you are now and wanting to change, and, like you said, you take accountability for your actions and you're doing your homework, you're doing the work, do you think it would be as easy for you to explode or let that anger out if you were in a new relationship, like if there was a new individual involved? Or do you think it would be like a fresh start and it's like, okay, I'm not doing this here?
Well, so yes and no, because if this new relationship starts to trigger me, I'm going to, still be like, not that I'm going to put my hands on this person, because again, I don't like to do that. But I could say that I could still feel extremely triggered. Like, we're human. So I don't think that, even when one conquers like the utmost peace, I don't think that we're able to just like ignore people poking us like constantly over and over unless we just remove ourselves. So if that's happening, I'm going to probably react. But I will say that from my oldest daughter's dad and when I got with my husband, I consciously made sure I didn't bring a lot of those things over, like the insecurities he gave me, just like the toxicity in general. I didn't bring that to my new relationship, and we did really well up until things happened between him and I that caused relationship between us.
They hit a soft spot.
But, you know, prior to that, I did really good with not bringing things from my last relationship. That was like really big to me. Like I would talk about it when I got with him. Like, listen, this used to happen there. I don't want to experience that no more. Like,
I was just going to ask you that.
Yeah. So, I think it's possible to leave something in your last relationship for sure.
So with my, you guys know, my first real relationship, I think maybe both of you have even witnessed it. I feel like I was more of the aggressor. I know you have, Jasmine. Pinky, I'm not sure if you ever like experienced it with my first, you know, my oldest's father.
No.
I was definitely the aggressor. I remember my mother walking in one time and I had a belt in my hand ready to like fucking, yes.
Oh my God.
I was kicking doors down. My foot got stuck in the door. It was embarrassing.
Oh, I could see you, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there when you kicked the hole in the damn door. Her foot got stuck in the door.
Yes, that's what I get. But he, you know, he never took his fist and hit me. I was definitely the aggressor in that relationship. And I didn't carry that on with me. But you know what? We were together for so long that even towards the end of our relationship, I had already changed because I was so young and dealing with shit in the beginning. I didn't carry it on throughout my relationships, but the tables turned. And
now the other person was the aggressor.
And it's
Did
crazy.
it feel like karma? Did you take it in a sense? Because
so a lot of the things that I have taken in that I took in relationships after my first real relationship, I've always said is karma for the things that I did to that person. And I think that kind of bit me in the ass because I was allowing things to happen to me because I felt like I deserved them and it was my karma. But at the end of the day, you grow, you change, and you shouldn't accept these things. But I just kept saying, oh, this is what I deserve. This is what I get because I did this to this person. And it's like a domino effect, you know?
No, for sure. I used to think that the things I went through with my oldest daughter's dad was because of my karma for the guy that I abused before him.
And you allow it because of that, because it's almost like you tell yourself, like, I deserve this. And I think a lot of women in general go through that. Like, even if they're being physically abused, they feel like, oh, I shouldn't have triggered this person. I shouldn't have done this. You know.
Yeah, I've seen women say that. I have been told to calm down and let the person have it because I know how they are or something like that. And that's coming from somebody who has made excuses for their abuser. So I don't know. I always called that person weak. I would say that she's weak because I'm not just gonna fold because of what this person might say to me. Like, I'm not gonna let them, you know, do this to me because of what they might do or say after I react to their disrespect. And I would always get scolded, like, you see, this is your fault. You know, like I would, but it wouldn't be my fault. I would just be defending myself and reacting to the disrespect, you know? So, again, go ahead. I'm not calling anybody weak, but that person, I would call her weak. So,
believe it or not, the weaker person is the abuser. Because you are being a bully. You are attacking, you're bullying somebody. I know what you're talking about, but I'm just speaking in general. When I was younger, don't get me wrong, if somebody had me fucked up, I'm gonna approach you and I'm gonna let it be known, like, this can happen. When I was younger, maybe even now, but if the person was smaller or weaker or intimidated by me and didn't want to fight me, I wasn't gonna like force myself to make them fight me. I was gonna make it known, like, okay, you stand down and that's it. But I guess maybe I wouldn't say I was being a bully, because at the end of the day, they were doing shit that was not okay. But maybe I was being a bully. But if you are attacking somebody who's weaker than you and you know that they're not going to fight back or they're able to hurt you, you're weaker at the end of the day. You are the weak one.
Oh, yeah. I've never liked fighting people who are scared of me. Like, if you're scared of me, I'm automatically sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
I remember I fought my friend. And we weren't friends at the time, of course, but we were friends. We got into an argument, and then it like led to us talking shit to each other on MySpace. And it was like, oh, we're gonna meet up, and we fucking met up, and she was so, and y'all know how small I am. She was so much smaller than me, like little arms like this, and like we were the same height, but she was skinny as fuck. So like when I say I whooped her ass, like she got up,
but
and
you felt bad.
I was so mad at her face. I literally hugged her when we got done fighting. I literally said, "Oh my fucking God." I grabbed her and I just like embraced her and I cried and I apologized and we made up right there after like a hard down fucking fist fight. Like,
oh, look at you, bro.
Like, I don't play that bullying shit. And
but
I
people know
teach
that
my
they're
kids
small.
like,
oh
no, that's why we fought.
And
That's why I was like, we gonna fight because you talking that shit like you ready to fight, but you definitely, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna lose.
You felt bad. Yeah, you felt
and then
bad.
I felt bad, yeah.
What were you gonna say? You said you know, your kids.
Oh,
I
teach my kids, like, don't be bullying people either. Like, and don't allow other people to bully people. Like, defend.
That's big for me.
Yeah, so bullying
especially
is
with
not
like
okay.
with my youngest. I think that he teaches my older two a lot. And I'm just saying, if you wouldn't want this done to him or to people you love in your family or even yourself, like, you stand up. Like, I don't care if this person's bigger. If they're bullying somebody, you need to say something. And if you're not comfortable enough to say something to them, you need to go tell somebody.
Yeah, get help.
Yeah, definitely.
And let's be honest, because I've been honest this whole time. I told you about the abuse that I've dished out. Have any of you been abusive? Rather it is physically, mentally, verbally. Have you ever?
I have, physically.
No. I'm talking to the guys in the comments, but you can go ahead and share if you want. I just want to see how many men. Yeah, I want to see how many men will sit here and admit to it, because you guys have in some way, and I'm not saying you beat up every girl you've been with or you talk shit to all of them, but I think that if there's 10 guys
common.
here,
it's almost too common.
Yeah.
Been in a very abusive relationship of 7 years where you were the abuser, or you guys were fighting and abusing each other.
I think he was saying that he was being abused.
Well, I'm not asking that. I was really bad. Going to therapy saved me. That's awesome. You went to therapy for your issues. That's so good. Like,
but he was the abuser?
Yes. Take notes, guys. Go get help. I think the person that I know could really use therapy. It would be super beneficial. Both. Okay. Money Mason said both. Or are you talking about who I know? I'm not gonna put that person on blast.
Yeah. No.
Who said both? Okay. Yeah, I learned it from my father. That's sometimes where it starts. That's why it's so important, guys, also to be present and active in your kids' lives, bro. Like, I didn't even realize how much not growing up in a household with both of my parents or just like an active father. Like, I had some summers and some weekends when I was young, but he was never really present emotionally with me. We like feared our dad a lot. So I say that to say I didn't realize how much it affected me growing up and how like angry I turned out and shit until I became an adult. Like, that's when it like dawned on me, like, damn, you are like broken, and like there are some things that you are realizing that you're missing and that you wish you had, like. And yeah, so it's very important to be active in your kids' lives and not create broken homes. And if you do create broken homes because you and that person are not compatible, fucking co-parent, like, be mature and just make it work for your kids, because this shit could like affect them. Speaking of that,
go ahead.
Well, if you got something to say to touch on that, I just wanted to talk about abuse affecting children. Like,
okay, so let me say what I want to say first, and then it'd be like good to roll.
It falls into that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I was younger, I witnessed, abuse, and I always thought that my dad was the aggressor, but
because he's a man.
Because he's the man, Mm-hmm. And, my mom would drink and she was the aggressor. But growing up, I was like, oh, a man should never be aggressive with a woman. So I was like, when I saw him protect himself, ultimately, I always thought, oh, it's his fault. My mom, I think, went through a lot of emotional abuse from him, which led to the physical abuse when she drank. And like I said, they don't go through it now. They were younger. They were in their 30s, and it wasn't like abuse. It wasn't like he would say something, she would say something, and something popped off. It was like seldom, and there was drinking involved, and I witnessed it. I'm the middle child, and I was always the one that had to step in and protect even my older sister. You know, I was one breaking up fights at a young age.
Yeah, you were like the stronger.
Yeah. But it's so crazy to me because a lot of the things that I accept in my partners now are the toxic traits that I saw in my parents. It was almost like my dad is very nonchalant when it comes to the emotional aspect of things. And my mom was toxic in a sense when she would drink or do things. And I think I picked up both traits or even accepted traits of my partner because of what I witnessed, even though as much as I hated it growing up. Yeah. So it does affect children. It really does, and it's sad. I mean, you don't realize it until, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. Me, I would say from my first abusive relationship, when I had gotten to my since I was so used to it from my first one, when I got into my second abusive relationship, it was abusive before and this is with, you know, my kid's father. It was abusive before I was with, before I had my kids. And I was so used to it, it was like nothing. But then once I had my kids and everything, it was getting so bad. Like it was to the point where I would have my baby in my hand. And
it's almost like they know because you have a child, you're not going anywhere. A lot of people are like that. They think that we didn't touch on this. You know, a lot of stay-at-home moms or people, like, if you are financially dependent on this person, they will use that shit against you.
That's
a house.
Yeah.
It is.
And that's another thing with me. Controlling comes into this part with me. So whenever I would get a job like this, my kid's father would do like literally everything to jeopardize my my job
because he wanted you home with the kids.
Exactly. So it got to the point where, and then on top of that,
realized that there's someone out there better. He didn't want her girl and one.
Yeah. And then it was to the point where I would be busting my ass so much when I'm working, and he would take all my money, literally, like every month I would put up money and he would find it, take it, literally. So it got to the point where it was like, there's like no point of me working because it's like I'm busting my ass for you to get my money. So then as soon as I started being a stay-at-home mom, it was like...
They hold it over your head. Well, exactly. I do this. I do this. Exactly. Oh, give me my keys. This is my house. Like, that's abuse.
Yes. Yes, no, definitely. And it's like now that's why my mindset is the way it is now. And like why it's like I don't like having anybody do anything for me. Because it's like I got it, you know, always in my face all the time. And like, oh, this is mine. I got this. I bought that. They take it away from me. And it's just like.
Let me ask you this. Did you, as a child, I know you experienced an abusive relationship at a young age. He was older than you, right?
Yeah.
He was older than you. But as a child, did you witness like abuse? Like what made you think that it was okay for somebody to do those things? Is it because you love them or?
Yeah, because it was literally my first relationship. So it was just like, you know what?
You were like in love.
My first love. Yeah, it was like. You know,
that wasn't your first relationship.
No, my first abusive relationship.
She was Lady G on MySpace, bitch. You don't remember that? When we first
who are we talking about? We're not talking about the kids.
No, we're talking about.
That's because you were saying stay-at-home mom and stuff. So
that's what led to it. Like, what made her feel like it's okay? I know she dealt with a relationship early on with the abuse, but before even that, like, what made you think it was okay? I don't know if you experienced it growing up or did you love this person. Go ahead.
Having experienced it once, it didn't, be like, oh, I'm not doing this again when it started happening the second time.
I thought it was going to be that way, but it got to the point where I was used to it. Like, I was used to getting hit.
It was normal.
It was just like, it was normal.
The norm.
Yeah, so it was just like I could take.
So he
punches.
he would hit you and you wouldn't react back. You would just like, you know, and
Yeah,
cry. So I
like
don't mean
literally. No, it's
I don't
okay.
mean
No,
to laugh. It's what I did.
no,
I'm
it's
sorry.
okay. Like literally, like that's exactly what it was. And you talking about with the second time, right?
Either or. I'm just like wondering like how like were you fighting back? That's basically what I'm
Um,
asking.
the first relationship, I fought back like twice.
And then it
Second
was too
one,
much. So you were
yeah,
like, let
it
me
was
stop.
like, yeah, exactly, way too much. Then the second one, I like not at all, because I
And the
felt like,
second one, it happened in front of your kids.
yeah, like it'll happen while I'm holding my kids. Like I would
So
literally be holding my son, and he would just be hitting me, like not a care in the world.
so do you mind if I tap in on something about your kids real quick?
Yeah.
So you see how they're aggressive with each other at times, the you know, the biting, all that shit. That can be a sign of trauma from what they watched their dad do to you. You know what I'm saying? Like a reaction to that. So you got to make sure that you are, because they don't have him, you know, he's not present, communicating with them in such a way that they realize that that's wrong. That's not okay. What your dad did to me, like as they get older, like age appropriately, of course. And I think a lot of them are at the age where it's okay for you to have those talks. Let them
they
know
don't even
that
know where that stems from either. They just like it's in their core memory, and that's so crazy.
Exactly, because they were so young, but they're sponges at that age. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's their core memory, like it's there.
Yeah, make sure you like instill in them how shit like that is not okay, because they think it's okay because of what they seen their dad do. Someone I know only seen bits and pieces of what their dad did, and turned out to be exactly like him.
Did you hear the conversation when you walked away?
No, I didn't.
So I was touching on like how I witnessed it growing up.
I heard you say that, and
yeah,
now
I
you've
accept those
developed
things
traits
from the partner. Either I'm developing traits or I accept them in a partner. And then the situation was never addressed as a child. It was
exactly.
I was never sat down and explained.
That's the problem with our generation of parents. They did not talk to us enough. Like they did not be transparent enough with us. And I'm not saying you got to give your kids like everything and give them the scoop, but like be age appropriately honest with them, because they're going to be adults one day and they're going to step into the real world.
Sex talk. I never had abuse talk.
Me neither.
I never had.
Be a strong woman. Like none of that shit, but just trust. Nobody's playing with my daughters.
Yeah.
Okay? Like
it's
the talk that I have with them, nobody's playing with them. Trust me. Like I've learned from what I didn't. You know how they say, what's the thing? Be who you wish you had when you were growing up, or something like that. That is so instilled in me.
You don't want them to follow. Mm-hmm. You don't want them to follow in your
like
footsteps.
that is so instilled in me, and like so yeah, I just say that to say, make sure, because your kids have already started to develop things that they, you know, observed back then, be transparent, talk to them, communicate with them, so that doesn't become a huge thing. Mason, you said my son witnessed it. Did that affect your son? Is he showing signs of trauma from the things you went through in your 7 years?
So I'm gonna wait for him to touch on that, but while he does, I'm gonna say, so my oldest, I think, has experienced witnessing abuse or even aggression in a sense. Like I know there was one time his father came to pick him up, and I was like, there's absolutely no way you're taking him, because I didn't like who he came in the car with. I didn't like his lifestyle at the time, and we were literally tugging at my son, like he's not leaving, because I didn't feel comfortable with who he was with. I knew who the person he rode up with. I knew what they had in the car. I knew what it was. And I was like, absolutely not. Yeah. And my son was like 3 or 4 at the time. My son's 10 now, and it's there. He brings it up time to time again, and it's there. And my son almost has like he's very sensitive, and that could be given. He's a Cancer or whatever, you know, but he's very, he almost, I don't want to say coward, because he's not a coward, but he almost puts himself in a shell when things get loud or
he cowers. That doesn't make him a coward. He cowards.
Yeah.
When that happens. Yeah. That's a way that can affect them too. They may not become the aggressor, but they may get scared and triggered easily by that kind of stuff. So.
And now that when you said that, Chime, I had a situation like that with my oldest. and I was always nervous of, you know, his father getting him, because he would always do it to where he would threaten not giving my kids back to me. So I would always, you know, I would always be hesitant letting him get them. There was this one incident where I was like, okay, you know what, like, go ahead and come get him, you know, because, you know, he's the oldest, so, you know, just come get him. He winded up getting him, texting me, oh, you're not getting him back. Me and him winded up chasing each other, like, up and down, like, you know, streets and all of that. And it got to the point where I had to call the cops to get my son back. He literally,
I'm surprised they gave him back.
Yeah, no, like, because I had a restraining order, and at the time I had 100% custody of the kids. Like, we were going through court and everything. So he winded up getting him, and then I called the cops. He winded up, like, shaving his whole head. Like, he was bald, like, had not one strand of hair on his head. And the cops wanted, like, I had to call sheriffs and everything for them to come to go over, like, through a whole restraining order just to get him back. I wound up getting him back like 3 days later. And then, like, ever since then, like, you know, y'all know how Tay is. Tay's very, you know, like, timid.
And he is.
Yeah, and I feel like
his dad probably has a lot to do with that. And not just seeing the abuse his dad put you through, but the abuse that his dad gives to him. And I don't know if it was ever physical, but I've seen the way he talks. That can have a lot to do with it also.
That was the whole reason why of me leaving him, was because it started just being,
it's like when it goes into the kids,
to go to the kids. And I was like, oh no, like,
it's one thing if you hit me, but it's another thing if you want to start, you know, making this a thing for my kids. So that was smart of you. I'm proud of you. He hit me when I was 6 months pregnant, and a few times before I ever got pregnant, but I was so blinded and always blamed myself. But once I had my daughter, I knew that wasn't the life I wanted for her. Yes. That's beautiful, because you wanted to be a mom so bad, and you got that, and you made sure that you, like, you solidified her upbringing, being positive. Like, just watching you've been such a great mom. You've done so well with her since she's been born. I'm so proud of you for leaving. So many women can't, and end up dead because they can't. So, girl, shout out to you. I'm almost, like, getting emotional because of your story. Like, I'm proud of you. Yeah, I'm proud of any woman who can be like, my kids saw. So, you know what? Matter of fact, bitch, shout out to my mom, because, listen, she had, and granted, like, he's done things to her for, like, so long, but they were together for years, and she had us, and it was like, I think when she left, my brother was 4, I was 3, and my little sister was, like, a newborn. And I had this one memory, because I was so young when my parents were together, but I had this one memory of my dad having my mom, like, flipped over in a chair, and she's like, Brosia, get out. Like, my mom yelled at me to get out, and I'll just never forget the crying look in her face and how red she was, and how much, like, that was the last time we left after that, is what I'm saying. Like, so the one memory I have of that happening, my mom left, and she never went back to him. She, like, got on her shit, and it was just us forever after that. So I just really salute women who are down to fucking, I'm not playing about my kids going through this long term, or them seeing me go through this. So I'm the fuck out of here. Like, it's one thing, again, to do this.
Like,
it's one listen, it's one thing for a woman to experience that and be selfish and be going through it alone and be like, whatever, I love him, I'm gonna forgive him. But when kids are involved, you're being selfish by staying in that situation. So and I'm the same, bitch. Like, their dads, like, they cannot do too much, or I'm like, hold up, that's not how we parent over here. Pause. Don't talk to her like that. How about you talk to her?
Meanwhile, the day before, you were snapping.
And then they're like, yo. But it's different, I guess, because it's, like, more intimidating coming from your dad when it's such a louder, deeper voice. And then when it's me, like, and again, dads, I think in my situation, they snap about things that are less necessary to be snapped about. You know, like, they have a little shorter patience, shorter triggers than we do when it comes to our kids, like, naturally.
It's more intimidating. And I went, your dad was intimidating growing up.
He was.
My dad
was
intimidating growing up. So when that happens, it's almost like a trigger for me. It's like,
my
dad would literally just have to raise his voice, and I instantly, like, was like,
my dad wouldn't even have to raise his voice. He would just give me this look, and I'm not about to do it because I'm gonna look funny. But he would just give this look, and it's like, oh my God, my heart's beating. And you want to know something? I'm the kid out of all his kids. Well, out of the kids that I was raised around, because, there's 20, 24, 25 of us. But the ones like my two little sisters that aren't from my mom, and my brothers that aren't from my mom, and then my two siblings that are, we're all in the same household when we would go to my dad's, and like I was the one who got the least ass whoopings. Like, and I was still scared of his ass. Like,
You know what's
so
crazy?
You told me that was because you kind of stood in the back and you observed. You were more observing than your brother and your sister, right? Like you.
I mean, yes, I was definitely more quiet, but that was even with my mom. But I'm talking about like I may have been the favorite in a sense. Like he would tell me like just go out there and act like you got your ass whooped because you were wrong, but I'm not gonna whoop your ass. But he would whoop the other one's ass for like shit that they shouldn't.
Which
get
is weird. You're the middle
for.
child. You're the middle child.
And you want to know something? I get middle child treatment now as an adult, but as a child, I was like the golden child. Everyone loved me.
I always got middle child.
I didn't, bro. So like as an adult, well, once I became like 17, that's when it started for real. And I was like, damn, bitch. Like everyone used to like me better. Now nobody likes me better. It's because I'm too real. People can't take that.
You know what's crazy is that, you know, my dad was like, his voice used to be like really intimidating, but me and my dad never had a good relationship. We have a good relationship now, and I'm so thankful for that. But before, back then, we had a terrible relationship. Like we were always clashing. Like it got to the point where like I was fighting my dad.
Yeah, you told me. That's crazy. But what do you mean by fighting him? What do you mean by fighting him?
No, like we were like bumping. Like that's how bad. Like yeah, it got really bad, and it was you know so crazy. Sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, it was like over just like how y'all said like being a middle child. It was over like my younger sibling. Yeah.
Yeah, don't that piss you off fighting with your parent about your sibling? Like, wow, so you choosing this motherfucker over me?
Yes, so that's what pissed me off.
Yeah,
that's what made me so mad.
Okay, so Megan said I was in an abusive relationship for 5 years and got out into the hospital, and I finally left his ass. Got a restraining order and all, and the restraining order is still in effect till this day after 6 years of me leaving him. So it must have been really bad for them to approve it for 6 years or longer. Like, so shout out to you, girl, for leaving too, because some bitches get out the hospital and stay. My dad put my mom in the hospital when I was like too young to understand anything. I was like probably a baby, and she married him after. She was like bleeding internally and everything.
They really do the ride home from jail, from the hospital. Like,
but she figured that shit out. She was like, I don't care about your drug money, nigga. I'm leaving. Like, you got me and my kids fucked up.
Damn, you out here dry snitching, bitch.
That man is old as hell now. He's all right.
7 years, baby. That's all right. 7 years.
Right. Okay, so Blueprint Harris said, I was abused when I was younger, but for the longest, I didn't think it affected me, though I just figured I was always supposed to be quiet and not let anybody know going to school. Oh my God, I know somebody who just recently went through that and finally spoke up. So I hope that you found it in you to speak up one day. And I'm so sorry that happened to you. Like, that is so traumatic. I know someone, you know, near and dear to my heart who is young as hell and was like abused and held from school, like is really supposed to be in 6th grade but has the mental capacity of like a 1st grader maybe, because they were getting abused so bad that they wasn't getting sent to school. And yeah, it's fucking hard on kids. Like, this person is really like messed up emotionally, like in a lot of ways. So I hope you're okay, and if you're not, I suggest therapy.
Yeah, definitely.
It'd be really good for you. Someone said, I hate abuse in all forms. We had to start sleeping together for what's right. Sleeping together for what's right against wrong. Or maybe sticking together in the evil, because right now we really need it spiritually. It's sad out here. Definitely. I agree. I am Mr. All White.
You know what's crazy? Not a lot of people go to therapy.
Yeah, because, you know, growing up, there was like a bad stigma on therapy. It's like, oh, you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like now becoming a norm, and that's why so many people are like comfortable enough to seek it these days. But then there are people who before it was like a norm were just like, no, I'm fucked up and I need to talk to somebody about it, because you can't trust everybody. And then not everybody gives, you know, professional advice. Like, I feel like I can sit down and have a talk with somebody and give really, really good advice, but then a professional could sit with me even and make me like make shit start rolling in my head. Like, yo, I didn't even think of that. You're right. You know, like these people go to school for this.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it's like I feel like it's better to hear from people that you don't know.
Yeah, no, definitely. Psychology is crazy. It's like really dope. So yeah, I think therapy is like really good for people. Myself, I need fucking therapy. There's some shit that I could get off my chest that I'd be venting to you guys about sometimes that, you know, maybe I need to hear another perspective that doesn't know me or the people in my life, and could kind of just give me an opinion that's like, well, I think you were wrong here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I love the guys that are chiming in and just telling us their stories from either being abused or holding themselves accountable for abusing and stuff like that. Y'all are dope. Accountability is beautiful to me, and you'll always catch
I love
me,
the fact that they're admitting
holding
it.
myself accountable. Like, so anybody who could do that, I have like so much respect for you, because some people are just like, oh, I would never. Whole time they're hiding behind this mask and they just beat their bitch up last night. Like,
they really do it.
Yeah, people.
I don't know.
That.
We had an episode on cheating, and everybody was like, "Oh, I would never."
People was in the comments that I know cheated. That I know is
That's
somebody who cheated.
Yeah.
Like, stop it.
Exactly.
Stop.
Have you guys ever been friends or close with somebody who's abusive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then listen, I'm the only person who ever witnesses this abuse and stands up for the person being abused. I'm the only person that be like, hold the fuck up, and everyone else around like justifies this person who is doing this.
So why do you? Let me ask you this. Okay, if they're doing that and that is in their personality, you know, that type of person, what makes you still associate with this person? And you don't have to answer that if you don't want to, if it's personal.
Yeah, well, you know me, bitch. You ask me something, I'm finna answer it.
Yeah.
But because they're family. If they were not family, I wouldn't. But that doesn't mean I don't hold this person accountable. That doesn't mean I don't have deep talks with this person. And I get into it with this person. This person knows not to fuck with me. Like bad. Like when I finally snap, like from seeing or even hearing the verbal abuse, it's like it calms down, you know. But I'm just not close enough to help the situation entirely, you know what I'm saying? But when I am around and I do witness it, or even when I don't, like I'm very communicative with this person, and I try to get deep down. That's what I was saying. Like I empathize with what this person has been through, but I don't with that being the excuse. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that abusers, in a sense, have enablers in their life, like people that allow the?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like how the people around will see it also, and they'll just be like, "Oh shit, it's happening," and they'll just watch and be like, you know, and like you're around this person.
When I see it going
why
on, I'm
aren't
gonna
you?
either stop it, I'm gonna step in, I'm gonna say something. Not when I'm
Yeah.
around. I don't care what
I would never just
going
sit
on,
back and
but
watch it. I don't care who it is, who it's getting done to, what they said to you. Like if this person, and then listen, the person who gets abused in that situation triggers this other person sometimes, like knows what's gonna go down, but still be like, I don't give a fuck, you know, like, and it's just like everyone's like, well,
but you want to know
she
what?
needs to shut up, and it's like, no, whether she shuts up or not, you know, like, so definitely people have fucking enablers.
This might sound crazy coming out of my mouth, and at the end of the day, my belief is that no matter what anybody says, they don't deserve to put their hands on. I can tell you the deepest, darkest, fucking craziest thing, and like they're just words. You know what I'm saying? But I think that some people, it might sound crazy, but they get off on being the victim. Oh, you hit me, you did this, you did that, and they will hit the person. They will pick at them. They will say things that hurt them. They know because they're the woman. They're
sometimes
weaker, so
yes,
people will do that. Say they're the victim.
People will do that to get some sort of, like, I'm not getting any attention at all, so negative attention is good.
Yeah.
Some people will do that also.
And they have a toxic background. They have they have some sort of abuse or trauma growing up that leads to that.
Yeah.
But
no, words
it's not
do hurt. I don't care who says it doesn't. I agree. Like that's why I said in my situation when I was like the abuser,
it was words that led you there.
It was not just, oh, shut up, stupid ass bitch. It wasn't shit like that. It was like things I confided in this person about. and it's like a throw in your face just because you're upset right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just getting thrown in my face on a number of fucking occasions. And it's just like, I can't take that. I was young. I was fucking 16 in this relationship, so that says a lot too.
You were a child, but
yeah.
you're still learning. You still get it.
Yeah.
Not that it gives a reason, but like I said, some people, they will.
Words cut deep, and you don't forget. Like, to this day, I said I was 16. I'm fucking 29 now. So over 10 years ago, I still can remember the shit he said to me.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if it leaves
in
there,
detail.
You should leave. Mm-hmm.
You know, so someone said verbal abuse is the same as physical. Again, like I was saying, it's only worse because you can die from physical abuse. Yeah, they're both just as bad. Like, you know, verbally abusing somebody is like mentally abusing them because you're saying
it stays in your head.
That stays in their head, and now they're dwelling on that. And yeah, like, words cut deep. Like, that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me shit is not fucking true, bitch. You say I'm sensitive. Don't say some shit that's gonna hurt me. Like, don't do that.
So let me touch on this. I don't know.
Said, y'all dope. This is real TV. Thank you. And thanks for the follow. This is the new follower I seen when I said we got a new follower. Thank you.
That's who be bringing our cars home when we be fucked up.
Okay. or when we park in the wrong spot. Bitch.
That's what I'm saying. When some shit go down. So shout out to Bella's Towing.
Okay.
If you need a tow.
Follow Bella's Towing.
Hey.
Wait, before you get started on that, Money Mason said, and you commit suicide off verbal abuse. Damn, that's fucking deep. So they're both just as bad. Did you see the one of the mother who is going through it with her kid's dad? I guess they be going back and forth. So she killed her kids recently.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
No, it just happened. And she made a live about it and everything. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. Mental distress,
mental abuse, mental illness. Fucked up. Yeah, you can.
I think if you result to that, there's some type of mental illness.
Yeah, because how could you take it out on your kids, for sure.
Or any other individual's life. I think there's some mental illness, even if it's like depression or whatever it is. But verbal abuse is definitely hits hard, but it's just physical abuse is only hits harder because it's literally you can lose your life in a second.
Yeah, on accident. You know, I didn't mean to kill her. I just fucking hit her head too hard off the wall. You know what I'm saying? Like some crazy shit.
That's what I'm saying. I hit her. She fell. She hit this shit the wrong way. Now you doing life and kids.
And then you wish you could have fucking said sorry to the bitch and made love that night, but now she's gone. Like,
yeah.
So that's the only reason why I think that we all agree that physical is worse.
Physical abuse damages the body, and verbal abuse damages the spirit. That's real.
Somebody who has had physical abuse, though, I think it also affects you spiritually. It makes you feel weak.
Yeah, like for sure. But
I get what he's saying, though. I do get what he's saying.
Yeah, he made a really good point, and I think that it affects your spirit. In a sense, because you are weak in that moment, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you get down to like a sadness and a depression, you know, like, wow, you put your hands on me. It's more so that rather than the way that it affects your spirit, you know, like actually.
No, you know, like I've felt like, I've always thought that I've carried myself as somebody who will defend themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That if somebody wrongs me or even my friends or the people I love, I will defend them. So when somebody you love is making you cower down to them or even submit in a forceful way, like you said, there's a good way to submit and there's a submissive way in a forceful way. It definitely crushes your spirit.
But when you were
relationship, even my mental change, even my personality,
were things being said to you though, like evil things being said to you?
Yeah, but you want to know what? Like, I think I've always had that mental capacity to know that when what they said verbally was a reflection of themselves. Like it never. The words never hit me hard.
Said something about you that you may have been insecure about.
Yeah, but.
That type of stuff can like hurt your spirit because now someone that's supposed to love you is pointing out and what is it, like attacking your insecurities.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure.
So.
I mean, but for me it was, I guess, because I don't like to submit, or I've always carried myself physically strong. That's what affected me more. With the words don't really hurt me, but I know for some people they do, especially if you're using things that you confided in that person, or things from your past, or things
Definitely.
that you know that hit hard.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think
crazy.
Words do hurt you though. As your best friend of like fucking 15 years now, I think you do get affected by
15 years.
I know. You do get affected by words. And I think that your strong persona likes you to convince you that you don't, but you do. You've shown that in our fights sometimes. You've shown that in your vulnerable moments. So I think you are affected by words, and it's okay to admit that.
Yeah, no, I'm affected by words, but like in the sense of when it's talking about like verbal versus physical abuse, I've dealt with both.
So you're okay, yeah.
So what I'm saying is,
so you're making the point that it affects your spirit the same way it affects physical affects your spirit the same way verbal does. You're just making that point.
Yeah, like but I guess that's because you guys have known me. I've always been, if somebody tried me and it was like a physical try, I'm going to act on it.
Bitch, somebody could try you. Somebody could try one of us and you're ready to act on it.
But I'm just saying, so I think that's why it affected me more. Because there's alpha.
It's like, you, and I just lay back and submitted and I let this happen. Oh my God, it makes you feel some type of way because of who you know you are.
Exactly. Some women are they naturally submit. Not that it's a bad thing. Me, like we said earlier when we were talking about aggressive sex and things, I don't have that because when somebody tries me, it's like, how dare you?
Why you choking me, bitch?
Yeah. They'll be like, shut up, bitch. Who you told me to shut up? Like,
oh shit.
Be like, just kiss me. No, you just told me shut up. Fuck you.
No, I love that.
Yeah. No.
If you're arguing, they're disrespecting you, you still just like give in, or do you get the last word?
Bitch, you know I'm finna get the last
That's
word.
That's what I'm saying. That's me too.
You be like, yeah, no, like,
yeah.
I'd be like, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
I'm gonna get the last word.
I was the submissive one. Like, I was the one to not say nothing. Now though, listen, like, you can't shut me up.
Jasmine, you know you be like, okay, daddy. Bitch.
Yeah, I was about to say
no.
Yeah.
Hell no. Now, before I was like, it's okay, or like, for real, like, that was me. That was my dumb ass. But now, I be talking cash shit now. I be feeling like I be talking too much shit.
But not that it's wrong to be submissive. It is beautiful to be submissive in the right situation.
I love to feel small with a man. I love to let him feel like he's in charge. But you have to give me that security to be able to submit, for one. And two, that's it. Like, you gotta be the man, you know, like, because I am an alpha and it's not easy to get me to submit. So you have to really be doing what you're supposed to do as a man to get me to do that. And if I think that if I get physically abused, if you feel secure, I don't think I could actually submit in that moment.
Exactly.
No, I don't mean like moving forward. I mean in that moment, how you're like, you know, it fucked with your spirit because you did, you know, like, I don't think I would be able to do that.
No, because at the end of the day, there's men that will literally, like, even if you hit them back, at the end of the day, they're stronger than you, and they'll knock you the fuck out. You know, so you know to submit or to protect yourself, and there's nothing like wrong with that. We're not saying that you guys are weak or that those women are weak.
Yeah, no, facts. And I will say I've even been there to where I've been, like I said, I've never been like, oh, I'm gonna beat your ass and like you're gonna fold. But I've been in, you know, scuffles where I've lost. So
you were like, ultimately you were like,
losing.
Okay,
I was scared. I was like, oh my God, like, is this nigga gonna kill me? But then like I got up like, bitch, you got me fucked up. So that's what I mean by like, even in those moments of like, damn, he could kill me, I don't know how to just like roll over and be like, all right, you got it, you know. And maybe that's something I need to learn because I could die.
Like, but it's like, why do we even have to learn that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's so scary that, like, and it's not even that. It's even I'd like to say, like, even in friendships, people struggle with that. They struggle with having to be I think, like, even with you girls, like, we get into disagreements or arguments, and it's not like anybody sits down and shuts up. We just naturally cool things off or go separate ways. But there are some friendships or some women that just cannot walk away, or
I mean, that was me when I was younger. You don't think so? Like during our fights when
Yeah, but you know what? Like, even when me and you got into arguments, we've never physically fought. Like, it always would be like, bitch, shut up, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, because we had that love, I feel like, or that, I mean, I don't know why, but we never fought. I fought plenty of people, you fought plenty of people. We never, it never amounted to that.
yeah.
But I think that people just, there's a lot of ego that goes into it.
Yeah, I went through that with my best friend for like 20 years. And
did y'all fight? Oh, y'all did fight.
Yes. Yeah.
At the corner store, right?
At the corner store, girl, right down the street.
She was buying some 3D burritos.
Right down the street from my house. But yeah, no, like once it got to that point, like, and the thing is, like, for so long, we would always like get into an argument, be back cool. Get into an argument since we were kids. Once it got to the point where, I can't
putting my hands on you guys.
Yeah, no. Once it got to, the thing is why it went there is once you start like putting my kids involved and like a threat comes to my kids.
But like, that's how you know, like, the difference between a friend and just someone you've been around a long time, you know, because I always seen through y'all friendship. I'm gonna be real. Like, I was always like, that girl's not her friend.
It's always been us,
for her. Yeah, like, because there's a difference between someone who's a good time and someone who's actually your friend. And you've probably had moments with her where it's like, oh, this is my sister, my girl, because you spent so much time with her. But I bet you can't tell me too many moments where she was a friend to you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, emotionally supportive, like, just, you know, like, worried about your future and what you're doing with yourself and where you're going to go. And I could say that just judging based off where she is, you know? So, I think that's why you were able to fight her, because, and then that's why she was able to come out her mouth talking about your kids. So, like, you know, for example, me and you could get into it tomorrow and we're not gonna get into it like, bitch, fuck you, it just might be a little like, you're bothering me, you know?
Yeah.
And we're not gonna start talking about each other's kids and being ready to scuffle and shit. And that's the difference between a friendship and someone who's cool to turn up with. You know what we didn't tap in on? For one, we didn't tap in on sexual abuse in relationships. Because that's the thing, like, dudes will be like, well, you're my bitch and I want it right now, and like, a bitch will be like, I don't want it, and he'll think it's cute to like take her shit off when she's dead ass serious about not wanting it. Sometimes it's like, okay, it's sexy, you're gonna take it, but like, there's times where it's like,
no, they know when no is no. Like,
yeah, no, I've been through that.
Okay, so give us some insight on that, Jasmine.
So okay, so with him,
you don't gotta tell us, like, you don't have to tell us everything.
Yeah, you don't gotta get deep into it.
Yeah, but just how your experience with that, how it made you feel, what happened.
Yeah, no. After he was being abusive before he wanted to do something with me. So he was literally like beating my ass and then wanted to just jump right into that. And it was just like, no.
You thought it was cute.
Like, and would you allow it because you were like, I just want to feel loved, and, you know?
No, like, I was literally like boo-hoo crying. Like, I did not want to.
But you still laid there, or did you fight him off?
I was trying to until and it's like, you know, since we're talking about it, he had a baseball bat in my head. So it got to the point. Yeah, it got
that's
to the
like
point
real
where,
rape. You took him back after that?
Yeah. And I was looking for like a year.
She was young.
I know, bitch. I'm still saying that's fucking crazy.
This
like,
is
that's
real.
Real
child's father.
That's before real rape. That's crazy.
Yeah. This was the first person, like the first who I lost my virginity
I know who you're talking about. He's nuts, out of his fucking mind. Like, the closest I've been to that was like, I was going through something really traumatic, which I'll tell you guys about later, like, deeply, but this nigga didn't even care that I was going through that and just like started taking my clothes off, and I'm just like, no, and I'm like pushing off, and he's still like going, and it's, I guess, a little different. I wasn't fighting him off, but I was saying no and like keeping my legs closed, and he just like forced his way. And this is my boyfriend at the time, and he did it, and I'm just laying there like making sure he knows I'm not enjoying myself. And I think that's also a form of sexual abuse, because granted, I wasn't fighting, you know what I'm saying? But
you didn't want it.
He knew I didn't want it, you know? And then at the time, it was almost insensitive to try to have sex with me at that time. Mm-hmm. So, that's also...
It's abusive in its own,
yeah, for sure. No, definitely.
And I think a lot of women do deal with that, and I think a lot of men think that it's not abuse because that's their wife, that's their
Because they're
woman.
with them, exactly.
Yeah.
And even women don't see it as rape or sexual abuse because
That's
their
their
man.
partner. And then even, you want to know what's sick? A lot of the times, if you even reported that, police wouldn't pursue it.
No.
Like, yeah, not even a little bit. They'll be like, well, we have no evidence. And you're like sitting here fucking crying and traumatized. And there's nothing anybody will do about it.
And you don't see that person the same. And it's like, you lose so
now
much respect.
Sex becomes different. And yeah.
Yeah.
Was your sex still good with him after he did that? Like on good terms?
He was cheap. Okay, it was like going to like breaking up, so it wasn't as good as it was before. Like it was in the moment of me.
So you were losing it up here. So
yeah,
she was naive though. You were very young. You were naive. You were gullible. You didn't understand what it was until after the fact.
I think we can all say we've been through a phase of being dumb and naive for a significant other. Like I feel like each of us has been there, whether it been when we were young, today, whether it'll happen in the future. Like I think that we all deal with that in a sense at least once. And it's like the beautiful part is when you can take it as a lesson and, you know, carry yourself differently into your future.
Yes, I think definitely. That we deal with that even as adults we deal with that because it's like when you love or you care about somebody, you accept things that you wouldn't accept from other people, which kind of leads me, I know it's a weird question, but do you guys think that friends can be abusive?
I was going to say that. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Friends can definitely be abusive in different ways. I've had abusive friends. I've had abusive family members that weren't like I'm not going to, you know, get into detail because people will know who I'm talking about, but would like literally get mad at me if I didn't call at certain times, if I didn't reach out enough throughout the day. And then they would just be like so standoffish forever. And then when we would meet up, they would make sure I felt left out. And, you know, like that's a form of abuse as a friend. And then as soon as you feel better, you're like, oh, like, let's go do this together now because I'm over it. And we didn't even talk about it. And I was super mean to you. Like, yeah, that happens a lot.
So I think that I have, like, when I was younger, I think that one of my best friends was kind of abusive. I mean, we were young. It was like more like they tried to be intimidating. Mm-hmm. And I remember one day they were like, oh, I had just bought like a quarter or some shit. And they were like, oh, we're going to smoke everybody out. And I'm like, no, I bought this shit. We can smoke it. I'm not smoking your friends out. And we got into like an altercation, and well, she hit me. I was young, so I was like 12. What the fuck I was doing buying a quarter? I don't know.
But I know we was out there. We was outside.
I hit that bitch back, and I swear to God, like,
she ain't fuck with you after that, right?
She never again fucked with me. Never again. But I do think friends can definitely be abusive, especially when they know like your weak points. Or
definitely.
But
someone said that's a form of insecurity. I agree. I know that the person who would do it to me was very insecure.
I mean, you guys know me. I don't have a lot of friends. If I could probably count my friends on one hand. Like my friends, you know what I mean? Like 5 friends at the most. Because I'm very easy to cut people off or just
thank you.
Or to fuck with them. Damn, I can't see anything. But one thing my dad always told me is like, all these people that you talk to, all these people you think are your friends, and in 5-10 years you're only gonna have 2 or 3.
They won't even matter.
Yeah. And he told me 2 or 3. You're lucky if you have 2 or 3. And literally, that's what I have, 2 or 3.
Exactly.
Friends.
I lasted, bitch.
You know,
I'm out here.
like, don't get me wrong. I have, you know, like friends I grew up with or acquaintances, but we don't connect on that way. But I think friend abuse is real. People don't. They take advantage of the weaker person.
I agree, for sure.
Definitely.
No, I do just want to say, if you are experiencing abuse, reach out and get help because you deserve better.
No, for sure. I actually wrote down the number to the National Domestic Violence Hotline that I was going to write in the comments. But it's 800-799-7233. If you don't want to like reach out to someone in your family or the police, you can call them. You can reach out to us. We will help you. Like, I'm all for helping women and even men, like if you're going through it. But I'm gonna still write it in the comments real quick so y'all could just screenshot it if you want.
It's fresh and it's starting off and it's already, you know, getting to that point where it's getting there, or even if it's been a while and you've been in a relationship for a while, like leave. Definitely leave. You guys, you know, men and women, people deserve healthy relationships. Like, be loved, love yourself, just like what bro said, and like really, you know, just get that help yourself and leave, because nothing good is gonna come out of it. Yeah, exactly. Nothing good is gonna come out of it.
Facts. So one more time, the number to the National Domestic Violence Hotline is 800-799-7233. I wrote it in the comments if you need to screenshot it for future reference. Maybe you're not ready to call right now. Again, you guys can reach out to us.
And if you know somebody that's in a domestic, and if you know somebody that's in an abusive relationship, reach out. And I know some people are afraid to say something. Help them. Reach out and say, I'm here. Let's do something. Give them resources and let them know that you don't condone it, because at the end of the day, a lot of people turn their head to, like, they turn their eye to it and they don't see it until it's too late.
Exactly.
I know a lot of people that have lost their life to abuse, because people, even addiction, abuse, like, a lot of their loved ones turn their eyes to it. So if you see it going on, if you see it, say something. We learned this in school. So
exactly.
If you see something, say something.
Exactly.
I'm serious. And naturally, I joke sometimes, guys. But I'm just glad where we took this, and I hope that, if anyone is in that kind of relationship, I hope it helped you. If you are abusing somebody, I hope it gave you a better insight on what you could be doing to them.
Cheers to it.
Yes.
We love our Creating Anarchy family.
We do.
Yes, we do.
Like, what the fuck? Every Wednesday.
Drop some hearts.
Yes, drop some black hearts. We'll be back next Wednesday. Stay tuned. Again, subscribe. Bye.
Bye.